Just wait a sec for YouTube to kick in. Alright, now we're live. It's been a minute. Calling today Burnout because about 3 weeks ago I had just hit the point where I realized I need a break. So I took a couple weeks off, did some different projects. Most of it was just video games, let's be honest. But now that we're back, I can kind of analyze it. And I was taking the day to look back, and it was last September when I said that I wanted to do 100 live streams. I kind of wanted to maybe do it daily, but I didn't think that was going to be possible. So that was the goal, and I've taken a few months off in between to work on different projects or just to have downtime just so that I could rest. And because it's a lot of work to do a live stream, it takes a lot of preparation. I mean, if you want to do a decent one. And now that I've had the time to analyze what's sustainable, I'd say 2 to 3 times a week. Because I did out of the last 238 days, I only wanted to stream about 170 of those because I didn't want to stream weekends. That was never a goal of mine. But yeah, I came about 50%. 84 days out of 170. 84, wait, where did I get 84 from? That would have been ideal. I'm on day 60. Anyways, not to drag on about the whole daily thing, but I got thinking, is that even possible? And then I remembered Casey Neistat did that for however long. I looked that up. That was 604 days, 18 months. And then I looked up the record. There's some dude named, what was his name? Charles Trippy. Internet Killed Television YouTube channel. He did 3,000 consecutive days. So that's pretty crazy. I don't think I'm going to go to that level. I think there's a point of diminishing return. Most likely. Casey Neistat is 10 times bigger than this Internet Killed Television channel. And he did it yeah, I don't think there's much of a point other than to just pump out tons of videos. But it's not sustainable. Maybe it is. We'll see. We'll work up to it. So what I'm gonna do is monthly sprints instead of weekly sprints on the development side of Bonsai. I think that's a lot more attainable because this is more of a marathon than a sprint. Sprints are really useful for establishing the quickest pace that something can possibly be done. But then it's nice to kind of be realistic and set yourself up long term so you can do this day in, week out for years to come. That's what I'm trying to accomplish, at least. So I've been loving this song. It's on Olafur Arnold's new album featuring Bonobo. It's such a subtle song, you almost don't even hear it when you listen to it, but been just putting it on repeat for a while. I love it. And then when I get sick of it, I'll just let the playlist go on. Alright, so my my goal was to document every part of the process from the very beginning to having like an MVP product that's ready to launch, and hopefully beyond that once it is ready to launch, if it is successful. I've pretty much documented every day that I've worked on it up until a few weeks ago when I was starting to feel this burnout. And then I think there was one day where let's see if I can pull this over. Here's one recording I did. Basically, I was taking this design sprint the prototype, and implementing it with where the current product was actually at. I did that for a couple hours, and then it just goes black for a couple weeks, and I haven't done much work on it, but I have this week. So there's been at least 3 long sessions that I didn't record this week, and that will be the gap. And I did quite a bit of work because it felt nice to not be streaming for the first time, to be honest. Because that definitely slows you down. It slows the process down, the way you have to prepare to document something, and then it actually slows your CPU down and your GPU down, I would believe, quite a bit as well. I think it slows my compiling time down. It basically doubles it, and that's literally doubling the amount of time of wasted precious moments of this life. So that's starting to get super frustrating, which is why I'm streaming from my PC today. This is a new setup I'm going to test out, where I have my MacBook in front of me. This is the main device I'm going to be developing on, as always, probably. Then I have a big MacBook display to the left. To the right is actually a Windows display, but I have the MacBook display running through OBS on top of it. So it's almost like a virtual external monitor. There's a slight little delay when I'm doing the mouse on it because it's going through an HDMI to USB conversion to another machine, but it's not that bad. So I'm gonna play around with this setup today. Gives me a completely clean desktop to work with, which is kind of nice. I'll have to look back on the recording once it's done, but I think there might be a little bit of delay and stuff that I'll need to work with. We'll take it as it comes. So let's just get started. The nice thing about this, actually this is awesome. I'm gonna do this for the first time. I'm gonna reboot my machine while I'm on a live stream. It sounds crazy, but it should work. So let's do it. Because my CPU is running at about 30 and my memory is at about 34. So we want to speed this process up a little bit. Nice little reboot. Oh, I haven't powered down the virtual machines yet. Hold on. Vagrant halt. I don't know if I covered that part of the process very often either. That's shutting down and saving the state of your bonsai project on your virtual machine. Okay. Restart. lot of good conversations going on Clubhouse today. I was just in a room where Christo was talking about optimizing his life, which was a really on cue topic. Because that's what's been on my mind today, is how do I set up this YouTube channel to succeed in the long term. Because if you're trying to push the limit of establish how fast you can do something, then I bet this color is just blinding. Sorry. That's kind of cool, actually. If you're trying to establish how fast you can do something, you got to push the limit. You're going to hit a burnout rate. So figure out what that is, then you might tone it back a little bit. So we'll be doing baseline of 2 to 3 streams per week. I'm going to start at 2, focus on the quality, and then scale that up to 3, and possibly 4 some weeks. Okay. Wow, that's awesome. Let me go back to restream, make sure the stream's all working good still. Another good soundtrack to develop to would probably be the Devs soundtrack. It's probably a little too intense sometimes, to be honest, but it's really interesting stuff. Yeah, I don't know if this streaming setup's gonna work particularly, because as the way I'm viewing it through Windows, through OBS, there's a little bit of delay with my mouse as I'm looking at the screen, and I think that's gonna start to bug me after a while. Alright, we can just pick up where we left off, but I'm gonna clear it out. Open up our shortcuts. Vagrant up. We're already in our scripts directory over here, but this is just this shortcut to get into our scripts. And as goes for this one, let's just clear it up. Yarn run start after our virtual machine boots up. So I'm pretty excited about this new version of Bonsai. I was doing a new version every month from April to November, I believe. Somewhere around October, November, I dropped off. And that was when I started working on version 7. Yeah, I don't know, I just got kind of sick of doing the monthly updates when I wasn't exactly sure like what I was doing at the time, I think. So the whole direction of the project was up in the air, and I needed longer than a month to work on the next version. So this will be the first release that we've had since probably October, and it's starting to come together. Pretty neat. Let's take a look at it. So cool, I can reboot my computer in the middle of a stream though. That is just awesome. Because that's really been frustrating me on the streams lately is just the amount of time that it takes to compile. When I'm streaming at the same time, it slows that down a lot. And then as my RAM starts to build up and my CPU's being taken over, I can't even reboot my computer in the middle of a stream without starting a new stream. This way I can. So I started playing with this new browser last night. It's called Brave. It's pretty interesting. It's by the creator of JavaScript and Mozilla, or co-creator, possibly, of Mozilla. He did a podcast with Lex Friedman that I listened to. It's really interesting. And yeah, this browser works way faster than Chrome because it blocks all the ad tracking stuff and all the other crazy cookie stuff, analytics, which is pretty cool. I like to use some of that stuff, so it kind of sucks, but it's awesome at the same time. I'll survive without Hotjar. I think we'll still be able to use Google Analytics through it. I believe. Maybe not. It might even cut out Google Analytics, possibly. But there'll be a solution. I believe that through Brave, this browser is probably going to blow up. It's crazy. It's way faster. It has... The one thing I was concerned about was the development in it, but when you go to inspect, it gives you almost the exact same development port as Chrome. It's like 1-for-1. It's crazy. So I'll probably start working in this. We'll try it out. Today is a new day of trying new things. So this that you're looking at is what will be version 7. I'm looking at it like to come up with like some type of generic Silicon Valley way to explain it. Patreon meets Facebook groups, but without all the creepy stuff. So this is basically a Patreon, really simple type of page right here where you would choose a type of membership. These are the memberships that I plan on offering. I hope by next year we could get to offering a small business type of plan where it's $50 a month and we would take maybe 10% of that or something like that. Possibly up to 20%. Like OnlyFans does, but that's kind of a ripoff. The goal is to get there, but in order to get there, we have to be working on these enterprise plans. This is my really sole focus right now, and I think we can start offering these right now. I can't scale it infinitely right now, so I think I can start by taking 1 or 2 clients the first month and then starting to double the scale of that. I think I could handle maybe 4 clients a month, my first month with this at the moment. So let's scale that back, say 2 to 3. I'm gonna start here, eventually get to here, and all the documentation and the training goes into this, which is the open source platform that anyone can learn for free. If you want to learn the actual courses from me, the curated stuff, then it's $5 a month. I'll probably start increasing that price as I go and the value of my content starts going up, but I want to start with it really slow, really affordable. Any company could come up with any similar type of offering. It could be 3 tiers, it could be 1 tier, it could be an infinite amount of tiers. Now, I need to link this together. Right now, I'm going to have a call to action with just a demo, maybe, but really the demo is just this groups page. Bonsai groups. Groups are spaces you organize by categories or topics. These spaces can be used as virtual classrooms or venues. So there's 2 major integrations I'm using right now. One would be Circle, which if you're not familiar with Circle, go to circle.so. This is a community platform that the Future, Pat Flynn, I think Neil Patel, probably a lot of people in that space are switching to this Circle platform right now, which it's kind of a replacement for Facebook groups, but it's really not, because it's not like a social platform. They call it a community platform, and maybe they could build a social features to it later, but currently it's mostly just like a forum. Very basic, which is perfect if I want to use it to integrate and build something a little more nuanced and complex on top of it. The other integration I'm using is from my friend Connor. He has a company called Hootsuite, which is a fork of Mozilla Hubs. And why explain it when I could just show you what it is? Let's see how this works on while I'm streaming. Interesting. Of course, right when I go to show a demo of it, I didn't have problems with it before. It's just the simulator messing with us. Okay, we'll get that worked out later. If you've been on the last few streams, you've probably seen it already. That is also an iframe. Login, circle, SO, refuse. Oh, these are issues with using Brave, actually. Which is weird that Brave would be blocking Mozilla Hubs, considering they're both created by the same people. I mean, not those specific projects, but we'll have to research maybe ways around it. Brave is a very secure browser, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't allow an iframe such as hubs. Because hubs basically works like Zoom. That'd be one way to explain how it works, although it's way beyond that. Yeah, okay. That's just Brave, it's not loading up on. So with, sorry, I think I called it Hootsuite, MetaHood. We load up this room right here, and you can enter on a VR headset, which we would get to that later, but you'll see how that would work pretty well in here. And watch from lobby. that's what I'm gonna do for now. Puts me into this room, and I can look around by clicking and dragging, and then I can navigate with ASD and W, basic computer controls for forward, backwards, and sideways. I think you can use the arrows. Yeah, you can use the arrows as well. So when you get multiple people in here, you will have avatars, and it's basically like Clubhouse in VR. You can just circle around people and kind of listen to them if they're having a conversation. That'll be in the kind of a classroom setting where people can discuss things. That'll be how we'll test it out at first. Here's a circle integration over here. And then we worked on adding circle comments over here. So you could pin certain or sticky like certain topics on here, have their comments tied directly to it. So it basically works as a comment system. Or if you just want to have a feed of what's going on in current conversations, then you'd want to come over to discussion, and this would make all the latest posts in chronological order. So between text discussions, text commenting, and Zoom meets VR, it's pretty much classroom on every level of engagement. You can basically dial the level of engagement up or down. You could be on here with a camera, like I am right now, doing a type of live streaming thing, broadcasting. You could have a VR headset on so you're fully immersed in the world. I believe you could even use Google Cardboard. I haven't seen it done with the stereo vision on the phone. I'm pretty sure you could do that. It seems like they would build that in. So you could do it with Google Cardboard or just a cheap VR headset by putting your phone into it. Or you can do it just from your phone by clicking and pinching. And that might sound painful, but it seemed pretty intuitive when I've tried it. I think it works pretty well. So one of the next steps would be really starting to design these spaces and these events, things like this. I think it's really exciting. I think this version is going to be the MVP for really the future of the product, which is crazy because it started as an LMS, and as it currently stands, LMS is one of the features that it can have. That would also be basically the same thing as membership or exclusive content. LMS is kind of the same because I don't really believe in putting my focus into quizzing, which my LMS does have quizzing, but I mean like really going deep into what some LMSs kind of have walkthroughs the entire way through. And I think I'd like to focus on video content. Basically no quizzing. You could have the option of it, and we'd start at pretty rudimentary level, but my theory is if you have valuable content, there's really no reason to be quizzing and testing people on it, especially if they're paying for it. So we'll start there. Maybe we would expand upon the quizzing, certification, testing features down the road, but it already does have that in the LMS if I wanted. I might simplify the LMS, I might take it out down the road, but right now it's just kind of laying there dormant. I'm teaching my courses with it, so if you signed up for the Bonsai Masterclass, it would be taught through this, but You wouldn't have to have an LMS. You could use Teachable, you could integrate Teachable. And I think you'd still want to. I just lost my train of thought. I need to send a text message. Alright, I guess somebody that might be interested in getting a bonsai site set up is coming over. So I'm gonna get as much done today as I can. I'll probably be cutting the stream off if I had to guess. Probably, I'm just about to find out. Probably about 40 minutes, who knows. Probably got half an hour to an hour left. So what I'm gonna do is just work on basically touching up this demo a little bit more. One of the first things I want to do is actually add the circle bubble down here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we go to the future, was it just staging? No, I think it's the future.jackalope.io. Oh wow, this is like the very early version. Maybe it is the feature staging. Yeah. This was the very first thing I really started working on this kind of layout. And we've got this right here. So if we click on this, it brings up a circle community. And actually, as you can see with this circle account, I actually had access to custom widgets. So I was able to put a custom CSS file inside of it that matched like a bonsai CSS file. That's why it matches the color scheme. Although I wonder if it looks awful because the HDMI conversion that I'm using. I need to like full screen this. I think it looks okay. Looks horrible through my screen, but I'll have to mess with using my higher quality HDMI conversion tomorrow. Anyways, so that's one of the first things I'm going to do actually. I need to pull that up. Here's my in the description I have a invite to this board if anyone wants to ever look at it. It's my backlog at the moment, which is funny because I've actually done a lot of work, but I actually haven't checked any of these off. I'm still working on the dummy content and then duplicating the group modal components. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet because I don't really need that to demonstrate it. And we've got a bug with some modal window stuff ready for testing. I think it's pretty much ready for demonstration after I get this dummy content done. So that's what I'm going for right now. But I do want to add something, which is embedding. I'm going to embed circle main. This is like the main integrations. So you pretty much just have the whole circle community at a button's access right there. I think I had some custom CSS on that. I'll just figure it out. So I'll just come into circle. Let's see, what was my new community I made? Jackalope Media. Yeah, Circle changed some things since that first version on the future. They don't allow um, they don't allow you to add your own CSS or JavaScript unless you have the $80 a month plan. So this is just a free trial. I don't get access to that kind of stuff because they were having some security issues with it, I guess. But I'm gonna come into settings. Embed. It's this one right here, the community widget. Let's see, add a community widget right hand corner of the website when using. Copy this head section of your website. Alright, let's find that head real quick. Views, partials. I don't want this to get too messy up here. I'm going to be taking this to my routes, my JavaScript routes, if I need to, but I think once we link into the Google API, we won't need this little JSON section right here. But I am going to drop that right down here. Oops. Okay. Alright, I've got it in the bottom right for now. Usually, I'd actually moved it to the bottom left because I had a countdown timer in the bottom right, but we could swap those, it doesn't really matter at the moment. I'm going to take a break right now because I think I'm just about to have company, in which case I'll probably cut the stream, and yeah, I'll probably be back tomorrow, yeah, to start finishing this up. So spend most of this time kind of just talking about the future of this channel. I know there's not a lot of people that are super interested in that right now, but I hope one day when this tool becomes really popular that it'll look back at these videos. I'll be right back. All right. Indeed, that is going to be it for the day. Let me just check something off the list so I feel like we got at least something done other than me talking theory. It's a good quote I came across over the weekend. Or no, it was just a few days ago. Vision without execution is hallucination. That's why you gotta get shit done. Alright. We'll be back here tomorrow, my friends. I think we'll be able to get this wrapped up so it's ready for demo this weekend if we wanted. I'll get that wrapped up tomorrow. And then I'll take Friday off again and the weekend. See you guys next week for 2 streams, maybe 3 if we're lucky. Alright.